Hello, this is Chef Chip from riceandgravy.com, back again with another great recipe, Super Tonic. This recipe came to me years ago from a friend who kept a supply of it on her counter. She'd gotten it from the infirmary at her son's boarding school. Most sources on the web credit Dr. Schultz for this tonic. It's available from his website as a tincture. I'll include a link in the description below. I used to keep a supply of this tonic in my cafe, and it seemed like we were always running out. It's very effective against the cold and seasonal allergies. It doesn't just alleviate symptoms, it just gets rid of it altogether. Most of the ingredients in this concoction are known to be anti-inflammatories. A teaspoon 3 to 4 times a day at the onset of symptoms will have you feeling better in just a couple of days. So here's how it's made. When you choose jalapenos, look for the ones with striations in the skin like this. That means they'll be spicier. There are several different kinds of ginger available. Ginger from the Americas, like Costa Rica or Ecuador, tend to be very harsh, and I don't really care for them too much. Look for Chinese ginger. Organic is best. Fresh horseradish can be hard to find. Look for it at your local farmer's market. And choose a firm root with very little bend to it, like this. White onion is the best choice in this case. Choose smaller ones that weigh in around half a pound. Garlic, like this, is what you want, and always fresh, always whole. Don't buy the peeled stuff. Fresh turmeric can also be hard to find. I've only seen it at my local farmer's market. Turmeric is my own addition to this recipe. The solution is made with organic apple cider vinegar. Generic grocery store varieties are not the same. Look for organic, unfiltered. Bragg's is a good choice. You're definitely going to need a powerful blender to get this right. I'm partial to Vitamix only because that's what I own and what I've always used. I think BlendTech also makes a good blender. These blenders are equipped with a motor strong enough to handle the strain the ingredients put on it. The first step is to break all the ingredients down to smaller pieces so the blender can do its job. Some ingredients are easier to break down than others. Remove the stem from the jalapenos, then cut into half-inch pieces. Put them in, seeds and all. And next is the garlic. This step is a little tedious, but it's necessary. The quality of fresh garlic is so much better than the stuff you get out of a jar. The easiest way to remove the paper from the cloves is to smash it with the side of a knife like this. You'll find the paper a lot easier to remove afterwards. I've seen some videos where people put them between two bowls and shake them around like a lapidary, and that works, but this is actually faster. Alright, and all that goes into the blender. Now we're on to the ginger. Much easier to break up. All you need to do is cut these guys up into little half-inch pieces and throw them into the blender, just like so. And the turmeric is the easiest one of all. It's already small enough, so all I do is I just throw them right in the blender just as they are. And we don't need all of this onion, so I'll only use half. Cut the poles off, peel the skin away, rough chop into half-inch pieces, and that goes in the blender too. And last, but certainly not the least, the horseradish is the toughest one of all. It's almost like cutting through wood. Be very careful not to lop off a finger. Horseradish is usually pretty dirty and needs to be scrubbed thoroughly or your tonic will be gritty. This particular piece was very clean to begin with, but I did have to do a little bit of scrubbing. As with the garlic, I know it's tempting to use the prepared horseradish. I suppose it's better than nothing, but I really wouldn't recommend it. Prepared horseradish will have possibly been pasteurized and just has very little life left in it. Okay, so all the ingredients are in the blender. Now to add the vinegar. To begin with, add enough vinegar to cover the ingredients. Do not try to blend the vegetables before adding the vinegar. You won't be successful. When you start the blender, be sure to start it on the lowest setting or you will have a mess. Gradually increase the speed as the ingredients start to move more freely, and then finally put it on full speed. As it's blending, look closely at the mixture. When it's all one color and you don't see any bits larger than a grain of sand, it's done. And transfer to a large glass container, not aluminum, not plastic. It must be glass or something non-reactive like a crock maybe. Then add the rest of the vinegar and give it a stir. As the mixture settles, you'll see it has settled into 3 layers. The bottom is vegetable matter mixed with vinegar. The middle layer is just vinegar. But the top layer is the one we're concerned about. This is made up of particles that have air bubbles trapped among them, which is why they float. For the first couple of days, you'll need to stir up the solution to help release this trapped air. As your tonic ages, it will darken like this last little bit I have here. About 3 months old and it's still potent. Your tonic will last up to 3 months if you leave it out at room temperature, 6 months or longer if you keep it refrigerated. I drink it straight, then chase it with water. If you find you don't care for the taste, I would not recommend diluting it with anything or you'll just prolong the agony. Sometimes I mix a tablespoon of this with my daily juice. Tastes just like salad dressing. It's important to note the quantities I'm using here makes 3 quarts. I really don't suggest making that much for your first batch. The ingredients list on my blog site are for 1 quart. Metal lids will corrode when exposed to the vinegar. Use a plastic lid like I have here. And it's as simple as that. I really hope you give this recipe a try. It's a great tonic to keep on hand for when you or your kids get sick, and you can keep some at work to share with coworkers during the flu season.